You two come in the middle. So everybody else and you two, I need to grab your lacrosse ball, sorry. We're gonna take this lacrosse ball, we're gonna put it under our feet, but these two, I want you to see how flexible they are. You ready?
Sure.
Then touch toes. Oh, God. Okay, so can you go any further? Okay, so we know we can touch the ground. Come on up. Can you touch the foam roller? We cannot touch the foam roller. Okay, so we have a good example of both. So we're gonna set the ball, and everybody else gauge how far you're reaching right now. So a couple inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, go ahead and do it again. And we're gonna roll the bottoms of our feet after you know how far you can reach. So you have some anatomical points in your feet that are gonna be pretty important. So we have the heel, we have the medial arch and lateral arch, and then the transverse arch. So we're gonna take and grind through the plantar fascia. We're gonna grind through, and it's gonna be sore. You're gonna find spots that are kind of lumpy, and you're gonna roll through that tissue, and you're gonna find them to the point of pain and even put a little extra pressure on them. Then you're gonna roll, and does anybody have plantar fasciitis? Okay, anybody? Okay, so this is a true treatment for it, and you'll roll the bottom of the foot and grind through it. This is what you do is you grind through that tissue. So you're gonna take and work through that. Is this painful?
It's very painful.
Is this painful? Medium? Okay. And then we're gonna roll, and we're gonna stimulate all those nerves. So we have sympathetic, which is run from a bare nervous system, and we have parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest side, okay? Sympathetic nervous system is what we're gonna down-regulate by rolling the feet out and grinding through the tissue and hitting the mechanoreceptors, sending signals to our brain. And then we roll it to the other side. And then as that sympathetic comes down, our parasympathetic comes up. So anybody like to sleep here? Okay? Roll out before you go to bed and upregulate your parasympathetic nervous system. Is this side different than the other side? Still sore? Not as bad. Okay. Find that tender spot, get some extra pressure. Right here. Grind through it, and then switch feet. Back to the painful spots on this one. You're gonna roll that outside arch. You're gonna roll the inside arch. Then you're gonna roll across the transverse arch. Then hit the heel. Roll back and forth. Switch again. Inside arch. Outside arch. Cross the transverse arch and the forefoot by your toes, then back up on the heel. Okay, watch your ball because it'll want to roll to the center. It's okay, just know where your ball's at. Just go ahead and let it to the, keep doing yours. Let's have you do your toe touch. So bend forward, see if you can bend your knuckles. Go any further. So we can go another inch or so better. Good job, high five. Yes. All right, boss, you're up. Foam roller. Can you reach past it? So, okay, we've got another 1.5 inches or so. So you'll improve your flexibility without touching your hips, your back, your hamstrings, nothing, by rolling your feet out. This is a big deal. So when you take the nervous system and roll out the feet, you can make an area of the body much more flexible. Next one. So we've rolled our feet out. Set your ball off to the side. And then watch me. We're going to do the mid-back. On a foam roller. So we're going to take this foam roller. We're going to slide down onto it on our mid-back. And you're going to tip backwards over it. You can roll just a little bit. And then you can stick your head down and your butt down. This is a mobility test. If you can do it, you're mobile. If you can't and you're stuck up here, which it feels really weird, but you get stuck up here, support your head and just know where you're at right now. And with repetition and time, you'll gain improvement in extension. And then over more time, you'll gain improvement. The hardest curve in the spine to change mobility in is your thoracic spine or your middle back. So Kyle in my office, he was a big guy. He came in rehab, and his mobility did not have thoracic extension, and he had a hard time doing it. It took him 12 months to be able to improve it, and he was doing it multiple times a day. So please don't get discouraged. Know where you're at now and where you're headed in the future. So everybody grab their foam roller, sit right on it, and then slide it down to your low back to your mid back. Put it about your bra strap area. All right. Good. Give it just a couple rolls. Try to get things loosened up. Up and down, and then try that movement. Try to reach your head, arms overhead. Support your head if your neck is uncomfortable, and see how far you can go. So bottom down. Let's see what you got. Just show. We've got 5 inches. You're up. About 8 inches. Pretty stiff. Mr. Mobile. High five. Good job, dude. You've got 2-3 inches left. Not too bad. So what this tells you is you have fairly good mobility. And so you're going to probably be able to achieve it now that you're aware of how bad it is and that you can work on it. Your likelihood or prognosis of improving it is higher. Make sense? Okay. How'd you do? Slide really, go right there. Try that now. You're almost there. So close. Go a little bit more up. No, that way. You go that way. Gosh, you're so close. You have a lot of anterior head carriage, so that watching yourself, you'll be able to achieve it probably 3 to 6 months. So if you guys are bending a piece of steel, if you bend it and let it go, it just bounces back to its normal state, right? With repetition, it can change a little bit. So if you take a piece of steel, hold it in that spot and whack it with a hammer, or use a torch on it, it'll stay in that bent spot, right? So I'm not going to use hammers, and I'm not going to use a torch on you. So you have to rely on repetition and time. So let's go down, and we'll do the next one. It's going to be our glutes. So we'll sit on the foam roller, and you're going to grind this out. So you're going to tip off to the side and support yourself with your feet and your arm. And you're going to roll, hip, and you're going to find little spots or lumps that are going to be sore. Find one and sit on it. You might even feel it radiate down your leg. Like that's your spot. Then give it a little wiggle. Then we're going to switch sides. Same thing. Roll. Maybe rock over a little bit more, rock back. Then you're going to turn to your side. Next spot's going to be your IT band. And you're going to roll with your pelvis straight up and down. You can put a leg like this and hands like this. Just support yourself where you're at. Roll. Is this tender? Yeah. So you're going to get all the way down to your knee. Okay? All the way up to the hip. So when you guys start doing this, you won't believe me until you get to where you're doing it every day. And about 3 or 4 weeks into it, you end up getting less sore. And you'll roll on this and you'll be like, whoa, that doesn't even hurt. So every person's different. Some take a little bit longer. Sometimes it's shorter. So then you'll switch sides. Hit that hip, hit the thigh bone, go to the knee. Now that we've done hips and sides of the leg, and we've done the middle back, and so in the middle back, we want to be able to bend up and bend backwards to be able to improve that. So do that right now, and you're going to spend some time just rolling up and down. So put it in your mid back again. I forgot to tell you, when you're in that position, arch up this way, and still support your necks. Roll up and down. So in flexion, and then go into extension over it and roll up and down. So if you want to bend that piece of steel and make it more flexible, you have to repeat in different positions. Go and set your foam roller off to the side. Let's do our lacrosse ball work. You're going to work that rump roast. You're going to use that ball and grind through this whole tissue. And you find little lumps. Sometimes it goes zoom down your leg. That's the right spot. You're going to work through some of that. And you're going to tenderize that tissue. This is like a sponge that's sitting on your countertop. You grab a hold of it. It's all crusty and grimy. Then you stick it under the water and you squeeze it and squeeze the juice out of it. And then you get it to where it's flexible and that muscle tissue, the fibers are rolling through around themselves. And then it starts to actually get better circulation, get better nutrients into the tissue so it can heal itself, so it can reduce spasm in it. So in your hips, every muscle group can handle this. Cool part is, right now it's sore, it does get better. So we'll switch sides, go to the other one. So then you'll take this ball, since we've done the backside, now we're gonna go on the side of our hip. We're gonna lay on it like this. So now I'll give you the landmarks. You're gonna find your hip socket, then your pelvis, 2 different landmarks. Really important to know. The tissue that's soft around the socket is what we're targeting. Not the pelvis bone, not the hip bone, just above it in that soft tissue that is tender. Then we're going to go to the front side, and we're going to hit up front quadrant, and then all the way into the front here. So go ahead and do that in your hips. On this one, need to be straight up and down from the ground. So you'll find that, and you want to make sure your hips are rocked forward. Sorry, not rocked forward and not rocked backwards, so that they're stacked up and down. And you're going to go up and down in that spot. And you're going to find that spot that's just a little bit or a lot tender, and you're going to work out. How tender is it? Oh, Nelly. Then you're going to rock your hips forward, and we're going to go on the quad just a little bit, like 45-degree angle of your hips. You're going to find even a more tender spot. So my hips are rolled forward 45 degrees, and we're turning the corner over into our hip, and sit there. Then slide up and down, rock left and right, grind through that tissue. Switch sides. This one might feel different than the other side. Maybe this one's weaker, more inflamed, maybe it's better. Even use your foam roller as a nice pillow. That was nice. Rock back and forth, slide up and down. Roll 45 degrees forward. Hit the front corner of your hip. We're going to turn the rest of the corner and go onto our tummy. So I'm going to give you landmarks before you go flat on your tummy. The pelvis, the tips of the pelvis here, we're going to go 1 inch in and 1 inch down. And we're going to dig on the front of the hip. So find the bump, inch in, inch down, and that's where we're going to grind. Sometimes you'll need a bigger ball, like a 4-inch ball, to be able to reach in there. This ball tends to be the majority size that works for everybody. So while you're in that position, you're going to lay there, and your toes are on the ground, and you're going to rock your heel out left and right. Good. How is it?
Good.
Awesome. Very good. Now, is this same tender as the sides or less tender? Less tender?
A little bit more pressure, right? Yeah. Tough to get busy with kids.
Okay. Switch sides. Go to the other one. Find that point on the pelvis. Drop in or drop towards the belly button 1 inch and drop down 1 inch into the hip socket. Grind the other one. Okay. We've got the hips done. Now we're gonna, while you're on your tummy, you're gonna move to your shoulder. Now, don't sit in your pec. You can, but my target area is rotator cuff, so I'm going to sit out here. So not in your pec, out in your shoulder. So the ball and socket joint out here, and your arm's going to be down at 45, out at 90, and up at another 45, okay? So you're going to sit there and roll in this position, and you're going to try to rock it up in the air, but you're going to roll that ball on the front of the rotator cuff. Now, when we get down to the front of the shoulder here, we're going to roll onto our back again. And we're going to do our low back, or we'll do our low back. So flip it over when you're done. Landmarks, the bumps on the side of your pelvis. Here, where my thumbs are. You're going to take the ball and you're going to go just inside of that, but don't sit on the center part of the spine. You can if you want, it's fine, but the tissue that you're targeting is that backstrap, that muscle tissue. So you're going to take that ball right here and you're going to find the bump, then you're going to find the spine bump, and then you're going to go up through it. This can be tender, but please remember you control the pressure. So now move up 1 inch. There's 5 vertebrae in the low back. You need to attack each and every one of them. You're going to do both sides also, so move up 1 inch. So then now switch, nice, got knees coming up, putting more pressure on it. Switch sides of the spine. Go over to the other side. So you can pick your pelvis up, slide it over, or reach behind your back and slide it over to the other side. Each vertebra, 5 in the low back, need the work from the lacrosse ball on them, and it'll take and just take the spasm or tightness and change that tone in it and loosen it up and make it feel better. Right now it'll be sore. Sometimes you'll find some of them that'll radiate down the leg. Stay there. Go up one more on that new side. Now, every single vertebra in your spine needs you to do this. You'll have 12 vertebrae in your middle back. So I want you to take that up between your shoulder blades. We'll hit the next region, which is your mid-back or thoracic spine. You're going to put that between your shoulder blades. You might have to set the ball down on it and then head over to it if you can't reach up behind your back and put it there. So a lot of discomfort from the neck radiates down your middle back, and a lot of people say, my rib's out, and they come get it worked on. Same thing with the middle back. Move up 1 inch. Find those spots, those lumps that are tender, and you'll sit on one. Go up another inch. One of my favorite sayings is, the important concept to take is consistency over intensity. So the repetition of it increases the change in the tissue, not just going and doing it just all in once. Up in the neck, you tend to find the muscles are more like less like body fat in the way. And you'll feel them kind of crunch a little bit more when you're on it. So then you roll the neck back and forth. You do no's and yeses. So if you're still in the shoulders, Sam had people move their arms and shoulders forward and backwards and reach and move them like a snow angel. Do those, but we're up in the neck. We're going to be no's and yeses. Now we'll head up to the base of the skull. So you'll find the bottom of your skull, and you're going to hit those spots and grind through them. Okay, if you know somebody that has headaches or have headaches yourself, this is like hugely impactful on the tension at the base of the skull. Changes outcomes for headaches by a ton. Migraines, roll it out, hit the skull, and then come off of it and drop into the valley just underneath the skull. Right side, moving a little bit in. This one you can do the center, left side, further left. Now, quick tip, while you're doing it, tuck your chin and stretch those muscles across that ball. Stop irritating the nerves. All right, we have hit every spot that we needed to. I want everybody to sit up. That's done. So I thank every one of you for being here today, spending the time and paying attention, listening for all of this information, through all of it. So when we did this with the fire department, one of the guys, his name's Jason. He came to us and we started talking to him 2018, 2019. And so Jason told us a story about his back. He hurt his back at work and he was carrying a patient. He went to kick a medical bag out of the way and tweak, felt his back. Turned into a disc herniation, dealt with it for quite a while, ended up getting a disc surgery. Now he's like 8 years into this. And Jason's having a hard time on the floor, hauling patients in EMS, having a hard time. But at home, Jason is having a hard time, go ahead and toss me the ball, with his son, Caden. So he, tweaked his back with his son. Caden yells at him. So his back pain's impacting him, but also his relationship with his son. Jason also ended up divorced. Jason's pretty dang depressed. So we started working with him. He started doing this stuff every day. Jason just came in this week, and I was like, Jason, got to tell your story. Jason didn't have any neck pain, no back pain. He is 2 years from retirement now. He's healthier, enjoys his life, has a girlfriend, has a great relationship with his son. So don't let any Jasons happen out here. If they do, be able to teach them these things. Help as much as you can. Inspire each other. If someone's like, my hip's hurting, did you roll it out? Like, ask them, tell them. Hold them accountable. It's leadership from all of us. It's your leadership with your coworkers. Thank you for your time very, very much. I appreciate it. You guys are free to go. Woo-woo.